Time once again to go back into the archives. Welcome to Vintage Games here on the NHL Network. I'm Dan Pollard. Today I look back at a 1965 semifinal matchup between the Chicago Blackhawks and the Detroit Red Wings. The Wings opened the series with 2 straight victories, but were on their heels for Game 5 as the Hawks came storming back with wins in Games 3 and 4. Let's pick up the action on April 11th, 1965, Game 5 of the semifinal series between the Wings and the Hawks.
Hello, Canada hockey fans in the United States. Bill Hewitt here at the Detroit Olympia. 1-0 for the Chicago Blackhawks over the Detroit Red Wings. As the Red Wings have a man advantage, playing 6 men to 5 for the first time in the game. It comes back to Piker McDonald. There's the shot, knocked down, and Bobby Hull clears it to Nestorenko down the ice. Over the blue line, and he lost the puck at the Detroit defense. Piker McDonald back. Detroit with a man advantage. Gordie Howe coming up the center ice. Chicago leading 1-0. A pass for Floyd Smith. He races to the board. He's knocked down by Bobby Hull. They all pile and hold it there for a face-off. It was Nestorenko from Hull and Ravlich at 8:37. Penalty so far. Barkley for tripping at 1:41. Donovan for boarding at 6:19 and Hay for elbowing at 13:45. They are now at the 14:26 mark of this first period. 1-0 Chicago. Nestorenko from Hull and Ravlich at 8:37. All set to go for the face-off. It goes for Smith. Out in front for Howe. He can't get it shot. Lets it go finally, and it's a punch to the far wing. Smith back to Piker McDonald. There's his shot. Right on. Howe can't get the rebound, and it's Bobby Hull going after it down the left side. Del Vecchio flipping right out of Hull's stick to Warham. Warham going right in alone. He shoots. Oh. Made the save. Back for Howe. At center. Over the line. Here's Smith going after it. Into the corner. Centered it right across the front. Hellman didn't see it. Hellman gets it again. Back to Piker McDonald. A shot. Cleared into the crowd by Chicago. 4 minutes and 51 seconds remaining in this first period. 1-0 Chicago.
Your attention, please.
Very warm here in Chicago. It's in Detroit tonight.
Please report the main office. William Iyer.
The Chicago Blackhawks making a change. Nestorenko, Warham, along with Al McNeil and Matt Ravlich. And then Bobby Hull comes right out again. He just went over to the bench to sit down, and he's called back out again. Eddie Joyelle now at center ice for Detroit. Henderson and Jeffrey. Henderson after it. Still has it in the corner. Knocks the referee down. Comes back to Del Vecchio over to Howe. Howe lets the shot go. Glenn Hall stops another shot. Oh, he hit the goalpost. Joyelle hit the goalpost. And it's cleared out over the blue line. Back into the Detroit zone for Gordie Howe. Eddie Joyelle hit the post. Back up the ice to center for Howe. Over for Del Vecchio. He shot it around on the boards. Sam Makita goes after it. Al McNeil shoots it down the ice. On the ice comes Hay now. So Chicago back at full strength. Pass to Gadsby. Over to Jeffrey. And Joyelle. Over the line. Trying to get his shot. It's right in front. And then that's rolling wide of the Chicago net. Back up the ice for Warham. To Vasco. For Moans. Doug Moans on the left wing gets over the blue line. Back to Makita, who's given a bump. And Bill Gadsby has it ahead to Joyelle. Joyelle at center. Over on the left wing for Jeffrey, and that's offside. One 0 Chicago. First period. 3 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in this first period. The referee is John Ashley, number 3, and the linesmen are Neil Armstrong, number 8, Bill Morrison, number 16. Face-off outside the blue line. Having a thunderstorm here in Detroit at the moment. Hooker shot into the Detroit zone, and up the ice now comes Ted Lindsay for Valfontaine. He gets his own rebound, knocks it into the corner. Lindsay going after it. He was taken out of the play by Palat. It hit Lindsay. Trying to center it, Bobby Hull. Against the board with Lindsay. He centered it right in front. Oh, McGregor just missed the corner with a backhand. And the Detroit Red Wings are missing some great chances. Fontaine over here to McGregor. He's turned around by Hull. Now it's Fontaine again. Over the line, going after it, trying to center it. Play is called, and here's a penalty to Chicago. Number 7, Phil Esposito. Well, now Chicago's turned to run in a penalty.
2 minutes for hooking. The time, 17 minutes, 6 seconds.
17:06, hooking. Esposito. Giving Detroit the man advantage again. 6 men to 5. Chicago leads in the hockey game, 1-0. Allman facing off. He gets it back to Del Vecchio. He shot it into the corner. Rebounds behind the net. Al McNeil losing it to Dillabo. Here it comes back to Del Vecchio. The shot right in front. Dillabo has it again. Coming from the side. Right in front. Allman is shot it wide. Another shot. Comes back to Howe. Howe over to Del Vecchio. There's a shot, and that goes into the crowd, and they're doing everything but score. That last one right off the goalpost. Two minutes and 29 seconds remaining in the first period. It comes to Dillabo, back to Del Vecchio. To Dillabo, coming from the side, the shot, that's wide. Powell races in after it. Nestorenko's there to cover him along the boards. They're trying to dig it out, and it's held for a face-off. Allman, Dillabo, Smith, Howe, and Del Vecchio. Nestorenko, Ravlich, McNeil, and Hay. The Red Wings putting on tremendous pressure here with a man advantage. It comes back to Howe. He's checked by Hay, and Hay gets it down the ice. Back for Del Vecchio. To Dillabo. Bob Dillabo down the left wing. At center ice. Takes a long shot into the corner. Hay after it. Smith with him. Hay holds it against the boards with his skate, and there's no further play. 1 minute and 54 seconds remaining in the first period. 1-0 Chicago. Nestorenko from Holland Ravlich. 8:37. On the face-off. Smith from the side, right to Allman, and it went into his skates. Nestorenko to Hay, who bats it out and down the ice. Del Vecchio back for it. Del Vecchio at his own blue line to center. For Howe. Howe getting it back to Smith. Takes his shot, and that hit Ravlich. Del Vecchio clearing it behind the net. Dillabo. Stand by McNeil. Allman gets a hold of it in the corner. Back for Dillabo to the other side. Dillabo still has it. Back to Del Vecchio. Del Vecchio gets around Nestorenko, closing in with his shot, and that's wide. Dillabo centering it in front, and Makita picks it up. Out over the blue line to center. A long shot that bounces wide of Crozier. Del Vecchio for Allman. Less than a minute to go in this first period. Allman. Here to Vasco. For tripping. Just as Esposito gets on the ice. That's the third penalty in a row to Chicago Blackhawks. Face-off will be in the Chicago zone to the left.
Chicago penalty. Vasco, 2 minutes for tripping. The time, 19 minutes, 8 seconds.
19:08, a tripping penalty to Vasco. So the faceoff is in Chicago territory when they're ready. It's Eddie Joyelle, number 21, Ted Lindsay, number 15, Paul Henderson is 19, Warren Godfrey, number 23 for Detroit, and Marcel Pronovo. Now Bergman's coming out. Gary Bergman, number 18, to replace Pronovo. And for Chicago, it's Bill Hay, Al McNeil, Eric Nestorenko, and Matt Ravlich, number 5. Glenn Hall playing goal tonight for the Blackhawks. Roger Crozier for Detroit. And from the face-off, Paul Henderson along the board, centered it right in front. It's handed back to him, to Bergman. Bergman takes his shot. There's the score! Lindsay! Now let's have a replay of that goal. Ties it up, 1-1. Goal was scored with Vasco in the penalty box.
Detroit goal scored by Lindsay. Assisted by Bergman and Henderson. The time, 19 minutes, 19 seconds.
Lindsay from Bergman and Henderson at 19:19 ties the score for Detroit. Henderson coming down the right wing. He gets in on the right side. He's closing in, and he was chased off by Palat. He ran into Nikita. Lindsay hits Warren. It goes out over the blue line. 18 seconds remaining in the first period. It goes to Vasco, number 4, over to Palat. Out over the blue line, up the center. Shot it over the line, and Lindsay has it. Lindsay coming back. Hill has it. Takes his shot. Vasco bats it down. Clears it out and down the ice to Gadsby. Gadsby takes his shot. There goes the buzzer, and the first period is over.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Hockey Night in Canada. Ward Cornell here, along with the other regulars from our Toronto TV crew, Ed Fitkin and Jack Dennett, and we're watching a most exciting hockey game. With the highlights from the first period, Ed Fitkin.
Well, thank you very much, Ward, and it certainly was an exciting first period. Chicago had a decided edge in the early going because Detroit drew 2 penalties. Barkley was hurt when he tried to stop Chico Mackey along the boards. He fell into the boards head first and suffered a slight concussion. He also drew a penalty, and that gave Chicago their first chance to put their power play into action. On one particular play, Hull and Makita combined to set up Kenny Warham. Warham was dead in front of the net, and he fired, and Dennis Crozier kicked the puck out, and he made a couple of other saves before that sequence ended. Here's how it looked.
Gordie Howe, Marcel Pronovo, and Bill Gadsby trying to kill off the penalty to Doug Barkley. Being served by Joyelle. Up the ice now for Bobby Howe. He's checked. And Pierre Palat's checked. Finally clears it over to the fire wing, and Stan Mikita has it. For Bobby Howe. Bobby Howe gaining momentum as he comes to center. Pass to Stan Mikita over the line. Back to Warham. Warham shot it. There's a shot, and Crozier stopped it. Another shot. Crozier's got a hold of it.
Of course, that was Roger Crozier that made the save, not Dennis Crozier. And then with the wing still a man short, Bobby Hull intercepted a pass by Norm Ullman in the Chicago territory and streaked away. He raced right down the center, broke through, and had a perfect shot at Crozier again. But this time, Roger was equal to the occasion again, and Hull just failed to score. And here's how that play looked.
And then they lost it. That's it again. Over to Esposito. Joyelle is on the ice. Detroit back at full strength. He stole the puck but shot it down the center. Bill Gadsby over to Floyd Smith. His shot knocked down by Ravlich. Joyelle shoots it right back into the Chicago zone. Ravlich. Checked by Elman. Elman in the corner. Clears it back, and Bobby Hull intercepts. He's down the 8. It's into the clear. Shoot! And he missed the corner. Back for Elman. At center. Over the blue line. A pass for Smith. And he shot it behind the net. Chico Mackey to Bobby Hull. He's checked. Gets it again. Checked again. Ravlich is checked, and it's back in the Chicago zone. Esposito. The Matt Ravlich. For Chico Mackey, and it's broken up by Smith of Detroit, and shoots it right back in again.
The puck was cleared down to the blue line, and an attempted pass to Alec Del Vecchio hit an official. Bobby Hull knocked over Del Vecchio, picked up the puck, raced in on the Detroit goal, passed off to the right to Eric Nestorenko, and the Nestor found the corner with a shot from the side. Earlier, the same play had just failed to click, and now here's how that scoring play looked.
Passing it to Nestorenko, and he failed to center it. Now a flip pass for Warren Godfrey. Ahead to Marcel Pronovo. Up for Del Vecchio. And he takes it away. Del Vecchio is knocked down by Bobby Hull, who takes the pass over the blue line. Nestorenko, he shoots, he scores! Nestorenko scoring for Chicago.
Ladies and gentlemen, enjoying this electric atmosphere in the Detroit Olympia tonight are a number of the former Detroit Red Wings who have come back last weekend and this weekend for sort of friendly reunions with some of their old pals. Now, I think one of the incredible oddities of the Detroit Hockey Club is that for the past 30 years, the name Howe has never been off the roster, and I don't think there's any need for me to sort of recount and tell you what Gordie Howe has meant to this club. Gordie has been here since the 1946-47 season, but before that, from 1934 until 1946, there was another gentleman named Howe, Sid Howe, one of the most amazing hockey players this league has ever known, the man who holds the record for scoring the most goals in a game, 6 in modern times. He also scored the first or the fastest overtime goal in 25 seconds. Sid Howe has come down from Ottawa to be with us tonight, and Sid, I imagine you're having a wonderful time meeting some of your old cronies.
Jack, I really am enjoying myself, believe you me. It's a great game, too.
Yes, it is a great game. What of the old Red Wings that you played with have you been able to visit with today?
Well, I haven't seen Sid yet. I didn't get a chance. I didn't want to bother him, but I saw Carl Liscombe, and I saw Normie Smith, and Rolly Rolston, and 3 or 4 others, Red Doran. And it's been very nice meeting them again, believe you me.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question you invariably get asked many times a year, because, as I said, the name Howe has been in the Red Wings for 30 years. Are you any relation, even a distant relation, to Gordie Howe?
I'm afraid not, no. And I think Gordie will make that very clear himself.
You'd like to pick up his paycheck, though?
I would, certainly would. I certainly would. I certainly would.
Sid, tell us a little about that game where you scored the 6 goals to hold the modern-day scoring record. Who was that against?
I think it was against Rangers. I think the year was 1942, if my memory doesn't fail me. Actually, it wasn't any time you beat a team 12-2. It's not a very good hockey game.
It was a 12-2 score that night, eh?
12-2 score game, yeah.
But it's still in the record books as the...
It's a record, yes.
Score. Now, this fastest overtime goal, 25 seconds.
This one I'm very proud of, principally because it was just before that, a year or so before that we'd had the longest game on record. I think you had Modair on last week.
Yes, we did.
He scored the goal. And believe you me, hockey players don't like playing overtime. Believe you me, you don't get paid for overtime. So I was very glad to see it go in.
Well, this must have been a goal almost immediately off a face-off, was
25 seconds, yeah.
Any assist on it?
No, I took it right on. Came in from right wing. I came in from right wing and shot it.
Well, you would have to take it off a face-off.
That's right.
Swing to the right wing. And who did you score on that night? Do you recall?
I don't even know the fellow's name. I forget it.
I see. Sid, how many playoff series have you been?
Well, I would say approximately maybe 15, 3 Stanley Cups, but I would say about 15 series that I've been in.
Well, Sid, I know there's a lot of people around the Olympia tonight anxious to see you. You're getting handshakes all over the place, and your buddies are glad to see you. I'll let you get downstairs.
Believe you me, I'm certainly enjoying myself.
Thank you very, very much. And now back to Ward Cornell.
And with us again, Harry Howell. And Harry, the folks at home saw a little bit of that period and some of the highlights. but I'd be interested in your evaluation of it all.
Well, I think the score indicates the play. The score is 1-1 now at the end of the first period, and both teams scored on power plays. During the time that the teams were at even strength, the play was mostly in the middle of the ice. I thought that both defenses played very well, and the forwards were back-checking. I noticed, too, out there that Bobby Hull is kind of up against it right now. He has a couple of speed merchants in the name of Paul Henderson and Bruce McGregor watching him most of the time. McGregor watches him for half a shift, and then Henderson comes out and watches him the other half. And I know these two boys, they're very good skaters, and they're going to give Bobby a hard time. Also, I noticed during the penalties that Alex Delvecchio and Gordie Howe are doing the penalty killing. This indicates that Detroit wants to win this game very badly when they use their two top guns killing off penalties as well as playing the power plays. And the goalies, of course, Glenn Hall made some fantastic saves when the Hawks were short-handed. And one of his defensemen I'd like to mention, too, is Matt Ravlich. Matt was playing second goaltender out there in the last two penalties that the Hawks incurred, and I thought he played very well. Roger Crozier made a very fine save on Kenny Warm, and he made a few other good saves, too.
Harry, what effect did both teams miss chances? The Blackhawks in particular had a couple of good chances to score. What happens to a team when they have these good chances and then it doesn't materialize, doesn't happen?
Well, I'll tell you what usually happens to us. When we miss a good chance in the other team's end, they usually come down and score a goal. And I think that most of the players will agree with me, because you just seem to have that letdown. You figure, now, why didn't that puck go in the net? And right away you get a fellow like Gordie Howe or Alex Delvecchio will pick up the puck and they'll come down and put it in your net.
Now, Barkley has been injured, has a concussion, but did he not have an injury before tonight's game too, Harry?
Yes, Doug has been troubled with an injured groin for the entire playoffs, and we thought that's probably what he had done again from the press box, but then we heard that he hit his head and has a concussion.
And Murphy's out too.
Ron Murphy is out, and also Pitt Martin.
Well, thank you, Harry. Nice to have you chatting with us as always, and in just a moment we'll return to Bill Hewitt, play-by-play of the second period.
And just to go along with that, they've added to their lineup tonight Murray Hall, Bob Dillabow, and Warren Godfrey, and both Godfrey and Dillabow have seen action. On the face-off, Al Fontaine missed a pass, then it's shot into the Chicago zone, and Elmer Vasco shoots it out for Henry, too far. Marcel Pronovo to Warren Godfrey. He passed it for Val Fontaine, intercepted by Vasco. Clearing pass to Camille Henry to Bobby Hull. That shot hit Lindsay on the back of the ankle, and that hurt. There's a long shot that's wide of Crozier. Marcel Pronovo off the boards to center ice. Elmer Vasco shoots it right back in again. Score is tied 1-1 to start this second period. Godfrey to Pronovo. A long pass for McGregor to Godfrey, and he cleared it right to Camille Henry. His pass on to Bobby Hull's stick. Bobby Hull is chased back at his own blue line. Now he comes down the left wing with a long shot. Crozier steers it into the corner. Marcel Pronovo to Ted Lindsay. Lindsay up at center. Offside to Bruce McGregor. McGregor didn't wait for Ted Lindsay to get over the blue line. He hopped in ahead of him. And, of course, that's offside. Detroit outshot Chicago in the first period, 12-10. There were 5 penalties, 3 to Chicago and 2 to Detroit. Nesterenko from Hull and Ravlich at 8:37. Lindsay from Bergman and Henderson at 19:19. Delvecchio, Parker McDonald, Gordie Howe, Bill Gadsby, Gary Bergman. And for Chicago, it's Nesterenko, Stanfield, and Hay. The attendance is 15,007 here at the Detroit Olympia. A pass stopped by Bergman, deflects to Hay, Bill Hay, a pass to Nesterenko. Nesterenko moving slowly, gains momentum with a pass to Stanfield, over for Hay into the corner. Bill Hay centered it across the goal mouth. Anfield takes his shot, Crozier stopped, and Nesterenko shoots. Oh, stop that. Nesterenko going to the boards, hit by Howe. Crozier's lost his goal stick. Parker McDonald coming out with a pass to Howe. One man back. Howe shoots. Oh, Fred Hall got his hand to win it. Still in the Chicago zone. Howe, a backhand, ends up on Ravlich's stick. Matt Ravlich over to Stanfield at center over the blue line. And his pass for Nestorenko went off his stick. He couldn't get it to him. Gary Bergman with Gordie Howe. Howe at center. Over the blue line with Packer McDonald and Del Vecchio. Howe went down. Packer McDonald has it. Back to Gary Bergman. There's the shot and it's deflected wide. Bill Gadsby's moved up. There's his shot and Glenn Hall has it on his chest. Dropping it to the ice. There's the puck. Score is tied 1-1. And this has been a good hockey game.
This has been a terrific hockey game. There's been a great contrast in these two series, I think, Bill. There's no comparison between the style of hockey which is being played. This is the third game in which this series which I've seen, and I saw 3 in the other. And I think that the 3 Chicago-Toronto games have been much the more exciting.
Okay, and from the face-off, Doug Moon in the corner. Coming up to his own blue line to center ice. A pass to Stan Mikita. Stan Mikita getting in. He shoots. Oh, he just missed the corner. Elmer Vasco from the blue line. A pass for Mikita. He's hit by Godfrey. It comes in front of the net. Marcel Pronovo, clearing pass. Vasco shot it in, and that is offside. Coming up to the 3-minute mark of the second period, the score is tied 1-1. Doug Moons, a pass to Pierre Palat, cutting in from the right side, and it hit Dillabo, number 24. Palat to Makita, a weak shot, stopped by Godfrey, ahead for Allman. He just couldn't reach it. Moons shooting it back into the Detroit zone. Bob Dillabo, number 24, back for it. Behind the net, watched by Makita, gets away from him. To Warren Godfrey, off the board. Moons stopped it. Godfrey's pass to Allman. To Floyd Smith. Vasco ran into Smith. Godfrey bumps into Vasco. Makita to Vasco outside. Outside and inside the blue line with the puck. And we're at the 3:26 mark of this second period, a 1-1 tie. The referee is John Ashley, number 3. The linesmen are Neil Armstrong, 8, and Bill Morrison, number 16. Puck is back in the Detroit zone. And it's Marcel Pronovo trying to bring it out. Too far for Ullman. Pierre Palat. Off the boards, Marcel Pronovo knocks it back, and Stan Mikita's there, number 21. Mikita to Palat. To Vasco to Moon. Smith skates Moons off. Here comes Godfrey over the line. A pass for Jeffrey. Jeffrey trying to center it. He's hit by Warham, and Stan Mikita feeds it ahead to Moons. Coming down with Palat. Over the line for Palat, and he couldn't control it. Warren Godfrey to Larry Jeffrey. To Ullman. Over the line to Henderson. Henderson waits, takes his shot, and that was wide. Ullman right in front. Henderson shot it wide. Laid down the ice by Chicago. And that is, we're at the 4:30 mark now of the second period. On the faceoff, it goes to the corner. Cleared ahead to Camille Henry to Bobby Hull, going down to center ice, over to Chico Mackey on the right side, back for Hull, right in front of the net, and Roger Crozier knocked it into the corner. Eddie Joyelle, bring it out. He's hit by Hull and knocked down. Chico Mackey passing it, and Hull and Gadsby were high-sticking one another. A shot, Crozier steering it into the corner. Bergman to Henderson. Up for Joyelle. Stopped by Camille Henry, and his pass for Hull and Richmond. Henderson on the right wing. A pass to Joyelle. Over the line. He's hit by McNeil. It's cleared back at center. Gadsby. And Hull. Here's Henry over the blue line. Takes his shot, and he hit the side of the net. Behind the net for Henry. Coming out in front to Ravlich. His shot. Henderson gets it ahead to Joyelle. One man back. Joyelle over the blue line. Takes his shot. He's given a bump by McNeil. Ravlich coming back down the ice for Chicago to center ice. He gets up over the line. Watched by Lindsay. Chased off to the board. Hit by Lindsay. There's going to be a penalty here. Lindsay. holding penalty of
Detroit
5:46.
Lindsay, 2 minutes for holding. The time, 5 minutes, 46 seconds.
Score is tied, 1-1. Lindsay for holding at 5:46, and Jim, we now have things on the ice.
Yes, again, the other series, I might say, I was a little surprised in Montreal last night. There was very little thrown. That used to be a great place for rubber footwear. I was a little amused to see Ashley call that a holding penalty. My own impression sitting up here was that Lindsay tried to put Ravlich out into the street, probably a couple of blocks away. However, he had a better view than I had. The way these two teams play, they play slam-bang hockey. Although there have been injuries, the injuries haven't resulted from what I would call dirty hockey either, hard hockey. If you recall that injury to Jeffrey last night, Hull just went right over him.
On the face-off, it's Hay back to Palat. They have a man advantage. There's a shot, and that's wide. Alex Del Vecchio cleared it, but not out. Hay gets set. Pass it, hit Pronovo's stick, and Del Vecchio comes down the ice, changes his mind, and goes back. Del Vecchio rags the puck with a pass to Gadsby. Hay's back to Del Vecchio. He cleared it, but not out. Here's Stan Mikita getting in front, and his backhand is wide. Howe shooting it off. Stan Mikita, but not out. Down goes Holmes. There's a shot, and that's wide. Comes back to Palat. Palat lets one go. Marcel Pronovo stops it, but couldn't get it out. Del Vecchio finally down the ice. Here Palat going back for it. The score is tied 1-1 at the 6:33 mark of the second period. Here Palat coming up slowly to his own blue line. He gets to center ice, flips it in. Warham and Howe. They go to the board. Howe coming up with it, lost it. Hay takes his shot. Crozier stops it, went down. The puck goes to Hay from Warham. Over here to Palat. Back to Warham. Over to Hay. Hay coming from the side, shot wide. Warham to Palat. Grabbed by Del Vecchio, gets away from him. To Stan Mikita, to Hay. Hay still has it in the Detroit zone. Over here to Palat. Palat fakes a shot to Warham. Warham centered it back, and it was too high, and Hay couldn't get a hold of it. Back for Hay. Down the ice, the center. Over the blue line, and dropped past the Moons, took his shot, cleared by Marcel Pronovo. Comes in front of the net. Marcel Pronovo let it go. Chico Mackey carrying it back for Pierre Palat. He keeps it in for Chicago. His pass hit a skate. Allman can't get it out. Lindsay's on the ice. Hay kept it in. Gadsby cleared it out, and anything by Hay offside.
As they say, wow. That was quite a 2 minutes. All the time that Ted Lindsay was in there, I think Detroit had the puck, Chicago had the puck in the Detroit zone, with the exception of the one occasion on which Warham, of all people, cleared it back into his own zone, trying to make a pass to the point.
The game is moving along very quickly as we're coming up to the 8-minute mark in 3 seconds of this second period. The score is tied 1-1. Bobby Hull goes to center ice. Dennis Hull, number 10, out for the first time in the game, playing on the left wing. Chico Mackey on the right. Ravlich shooting it over the line into the Detroit zone, and Marcel Pronovo and Warren Godfrey back. Godfrey in possession, number 23. Off the boards to Lindsay, to Fontaine. Fontaine goes in over the blue line. Cuts in from the left side. Centered it. Got down the ice by Bobby Hull. Goes over the red line. Pronovo back to touch it. I
don't think I've ever seen Bobby Hull skating faster than he was in that first period tonight. He was really flying, skating powerfully too. Anybody who got in his road was liable to go right through the ice.
All set to go now for the face-off in the Chicago zone to the left. Al McNeil, number 19. To Bobby Hull, number 9. There he goes to center ice. Failed the pass it to Dennis Hull, then gets his shot, and that's wide. Lindsay up for Fontaine. Lindsay trying to get away. Nico Mackey shoots it back into the Detroit zone. Roger Crozier off the glass into the crowd. Face off in the Detroit zone to the right. Now coming up to the 9-minute mark in 6 seconds of the second period, a 1-1 tie. Bones coming out number 2 for Chicago. Dan Makita, Kenny Warham. And for Detroit, Allman, Floyd Smith, Gary Bergman, Bob Dillabo, number 24, and Bill Gadsby, number 4. On the face-off, Smith to Gadsby. Bill Gadsby goes behind the net, comes out on the left side with a pass to Gary Bergman. Number 18 goes to center ice. Flipped it for Allman over the line. He takes his shot. Then Hall stopped it. Gare Palat trying to bring it out. He did to Stan Makita. Over to Moans. Up over the blue line. There's the shot, and that's wide. But it was offside at the blue line. Chicago in their white uniforms. Red Wings wearing their dark red. All set to go. From the face-off, back to Vasco. Shooting it around behind the net. Stopped there by Roger Crozier. Gary Bergman, number 18, waits. Now starts on the right side of Crozier and just slapped it down the ice off the boards. A carom shot right on the net. And Glenn Hall for Pierre Palat, who's bumped. Now here's the chance for Dillabo. Getting in front. His shot hit Vasco. Back comes Warham. Over the blue line. He's hit by Bergman and knocked down. Gadsby ahead to Smith. Over here for Dillabo again. He's in the clear. Hard right in that goal. He shoots. Oh, and he hit the goalpost. Dillabo hit the goalpost when he went right in on the left wing. Smith has it in the corner. Trying to center it. Allman is given a bump. Down the ice comes Moan. Over the blue line. Into the corner. Tried to center it. He did, and it hit Crozier. Marcel Pronovo goes out on top of the face-off. Is in the Detroit zone to the left. Del Vecchio, Howe, and Packer McDonald now. Hayes, Stanfield, and Nisrenko. Hayes centering it out in front. Howe's there. Gordie Howe with Warren Godfrey. Off his stick down the ice. Al McNeil back for it. He shoots it right back into the Detroit zone. That's going to the red line and over. Icing called against Chicago.
Well, these 4 teams involved in the Stanley Cup semifinals this year are undoubtedly the worst bunch of homers I've ever seen in my life. There have been 9 games played so far, and so far not one of the visiting teams has ever been able to win one of those games.
Okay, Jim, we're all set then for the face-off in the Chicago zone to the left. And from the draw, Al McNeil goes behind the Chicago net. Still has it. Trying to get away from Del Vecchio. Picks his way out slowly. A pass for Stanfield. It was behind him. Del Vecchio gets over the line. Al McNeil gets in front of him. They go along the board. Del Vecchio kicks it loose. Nestorenko covered by Marcel Pronovo. Play is called. Face-off will be in the Chicago zone to the right. Now taking the face-off. For Detroit against Bill Hay in Chicago. He gets the draw. Back to Marcel Pronovo. He fanned on his shot. Marcel Pronovo to Packer McDonald. It turns the center. Shot it over the line. Glenn Hall stopping it for Al McNeil. Al nearly fell. Fred Stanfield comes straight up the ice at center. Goes over the line. He's turned around, and Marcel Pronovo clears it out. Bill Hay. Pass over for Nestorenko. Nestorenko tried to go through. Del Vecchio breaking it up. He takes a flip shot. Glenn Hall catches it. Goes down and holds out of it for a face-off. Hall takes his gloves off. And I believe the reason why he grabbed the puck was the fender snap.
That's one of those lingerie stops. We had one of those in the third period last night at Montreal, too. It's amazing how when it gets hot that it's always a goalkeeper's suspender that breaks. I don't think that Chicago probably would have survived this far without Hull.
That's for sure, Jim. He certainly has been carrying the major portion of the load for the Hawks so far, anyway.
He's on power plays, and he's on when his own team is short-handed.
Now, there's a new one. Bobby Hull just shot a rubber ball into the net.
Even if I was a goalkeeper and he was shooting a ping pong ball, I think I'd get out of the net when he shoots.
Well, now we're all set to start play again. Ben Hall had his braces fixed up. We're all set to go. And from the face-off, here's a chance for Gansby, and the shot deflects wide. Larry Jeffrey moves up, and Pierre Pilote feeds it to Chico Mackey, to Bobby Hull too far, and Bergman clears it for Henderson, to Jeffrey, over the line for Joyelle. He waits, back to Bergman, back to Joyelle, and Bobby Hull takes it away from him, and Pierre Pilote covers up for him. To Vasco, up for Hull. He's checked by Joyelle. Over the line to Henderson, trying to get his shot. Vasco for Chico Mackey. Over on the left side to Dennis Hull. Over the blue line. Takes his shot and it deflects into the corner. In around on the boards to Jeffrey. Jeffrey is crashed into the boards by Hull, and there's going to be a penalty there. Up to Jeffrey. Over to Gansby. To Henderson. To Bergman. They got 6 men on the ice. Cleared by Howe in. Glenn Hall making the save. Play is called, and there's a penalty to Hull.
Chicago penalty, Hull, 2 minutes for boarding.
Penalty box. There is Hull in the penalty box, and I'm quite sure he has nothing against Jeffrey personally, but Jeffrey just has the very bad luck to be in his road.
12:51 is the time for boarding. Detroit will have the man advantage, 6 men to 5. The score is tied 1-1. We're at the 12:51 mark of the second period. Army Elman, number 7. Floyd Smith, number 17. And Bob Dillabo, 24. Alex Del Vecchio is 10. And Gordie Howe, number 9. In front of the faceoff. Dillabo to Del Vecchio. Back to Dillabo. There's the shot right on. Cleared right to Howe. Howe waits. Takes his shot. Comes over to Del Vecchio. He took a whack at it. Elman shot it to Dillabo. Right in front, and it hit Al McNeil. McNeil gets up on his skates, holds it against the board, then it goes loose. Nesterenko cleared it right out of Howe's stick. Howe shoots, and it was deflected over to the side, and Nesterenko brings it out, covered. Alman brings it back, over the line to Smith. Smith turns, clearing it over for Del Vecchio. There's the shot, and Hall stopped it. Nesterenko can't get it out. Del Vecchio in front for Ullman, and he was checked. Puck goes down the ice. Gordie Howe goes back for it. Howe skating down at full speed to center. Over the blue line. Back to Smith. And he knocks it out off the leg to center. Not Dillabo. A long shot. Deflects to Glenn Hall, Al McNeil. And he lifts it down the ice. Del Vecchio going back for it. 5 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the second period. Ted Lindsay at center. To Ullman. Shoots it in. Stopped by Glenn Hall behind the net. He cleared it around on the boards. Del Vecchio's shot. And that caroms to the far side. Now it's Bones coming down the ice. Over the blue line. There's his shot, and Crozier stopped that. Del Vecchio with Ullman and Smith, the setter. Ullman a bouncer, and Hall stopping it. Ullman after it. Covered by Moon. Played out to Bobby Hill. He's got a breakaway. Nobody near him. He's going in alone. Right in that goal. He should score. Now let's look at the replay of that goal. Bobby Hull going all the way. At center ice on a breakaway.
Chicago goal scored by Hull, assisted by Mons and Vasco. The time,
That
14
perfect pass
minutes,
from Elmer
59 seconds.
14:59. Hull from Vasco. 2-1, Chicago. Now it's Chico Mackey. Taking a long shot. Crozier tipped it out to the corner. Dennis Hull centered it out in front. Warren Godfrey can't get it out. Vasco takes his shot. Warren Godfrey with it, number 23. Clears it down the ice at center. Going back forward is Pierre Palat, number 3. Palat. Shot it around on the boards for Bobby Hull. Not by Godfrey. Shoots it right back into the Chicago zone. Vasco there. Clears it off the boards. Marcel Pronovo keeping it in. Here's a pass for McGregor, and it went off his stick. Puck is shot down the ice by Chicago. Goes wide of Crozier. All set for the face-off now in the Chicago zone to the left. Nikita, Warren, and Mons facing Fontaine, McDonald, and McGregor. Cleared out over the blue line. Godfrey knocked it back at the late whistle. Mons carries it out, though, so play will go right on. It's shot into the Detroit zone. Down goes Packer McDonald. Mons steering it for Makita. He centered it for Warren. Here's Mons right in. And he couldn't get his shot away, and Crozier covers it on the side. Godfrey and Makita start swinging sticks at each other. Makita and Godfrey. Teams will play 5 aside. Makita going to the penalty box. Chicago leads 2-1.
Chicago penalty, Makita. Detroit penalty, Godfrey. 2 minutes apiece for roughing. The time, 16 minutes, 12 seconds.
Well, they call it roughing. 16-12 is the time. Teams will play even, 5 aside, and as Warren staying out there with Mons. Bergman, Gadsby, Joyelle, and Henderson. On the face-off, Bergman. Behind the Detroit goal. A pass to Joyelle. Henderson goes after it. Here Palat is given a bump. Joyelle just failed to get away. He tries it again. Turns at center. Still has it. Tried to get away from Palat. Saved by Warren. Into the Detroit zone. Warren goes down. Play is called on icing against Chicago. Face off in the Chicago zone to the right. And then Bobby Hull comes out, along with Chico Mackey.
God, Mackey's playing pretty well for a fellow who was meant to have a broken arm. Must have been the most over-exaggerated break of the year.
Now set to go for the faceoff. Joyelle shot it wide of the Chicago net. Henderson trying to center it. Vasco jams him against the board. Play is called.
Bill, I might say that was Hull's 7th goal in the 5 games between these two teams. He's so far ahead of everybody in this department, it isn't funny. Incidentally, the most ever...
Okay, Jim, and from the faceoff, Bobby Hull behind the net to Chico Mackey. Mackey coming in front of his own goal, heads up to his own blue line to center ice with Pierre Palat, who takes the pass over the line. Palat stops, and Chico Mackey and Gadsby were swinging sticks. Down for Henderson to Joyelle. Over the blue line, Vasco steps into Joyelle, and Bobby Hull gets a hold of it. Over to Pierre Palat. Pass ahead for Chico Mackey, he fell. Palat bumps into Joyelle. Puck gets back to Chico Mackey at center. Pass over the line for Bobby Hull, and it's shot right out to Normie Elman. Elman over the blue line. Takes the shot. That fellow, look at the replay of that goal. A quick wrist shot. It was screened, and Glenn Hall was fooled completely. Normie Elman tying it up for Detroit. Gadsby will get the assist at 17:35.
Scored by Ullman. Assisted by Gadsby. The time, 17 minutes, 35.
As of tonight, as of this moment, I would have to pick Chicago as the strongest team left in the round of 4.
Okay, here's Ullman closing in with his shot. Score! Now look at him replay that one. Well, Normie Elman did the same thing that Jim was explaining to you a minute ago, 2 seconds ago. The defense backed up again, and he fired another one. And this one caught the other side of the net.
That's Ullman's 6th, Bill. He is gaining on Hull with every stride. Incidentally, I just put the curse of death on Chicago by saying that they were the strongest team, because they're now down 3-2. It's the first time all night that Detroit's been in front. They've just kept plugging away. There's no use trying to talk against the Robert E. Lee, which is sitting right below us. I was hoping that he'd gone down the Mississippi River, but I guess the ice is still frozen. If you can hear us above this roar, those 2 goals by Ullman were scored with dramatic suddenness and were unexpected.
5 seconds, Jim.
Just 5 seconds between them.
17:35 and 17:40. Ullman from Gadsby tying it up 2-2 at 17:35. And Ullman unassisted at 17:40. Detroit lead for the first time in the game. 3-2. Detroit 3, Chicago 2. Both goals scored with the teams playing 5-a-side. On the face-off, now it's Gadsby. A pass to Dillabo. Over the blue line, he's closing in. Goes behind the net. Ball. Ravlich clearing it up for Hay. To Nestorenko. Nestorenko coming down the ice. Over the line, into the corner, behind the net. Played over to the far wing. McNeil took a shot, and that was stopped by Crozier, and Gadsby clears it for Godfrey. Not out. Then Godfrey intercepts the pass, coming down the ice to center, over the line to Bob Dillable. Passing it to Gadsby. Clearing it in, McNeil trying to bring it out. Pass over for Hay, and Gadsby has it. A minute and 20 seconds remaining in the second period. Neal and Howe go to the board. And Makita checked, and Dillable is hit by Hay. And Ravlich turns with a pass to Makita, and it goes all the way to Gadsby. Over to Marcel Pronovost. Up at center, Parker McDonald is offside from over the checkered line at center inside the blue line. Detroit 3, Chicago 2. A minute and 4 seconds remaining in the second period. All set for the face-off. Jones takes a shot. Roger Crozier throwing it to Godfrey. Godfrey covered by Makita. Howe. A long pass for Parker McDonald. He's getting in on the left wing, trying to cut around Palat. Ridden off by Palat. Palat went down. Parker McDonald trying to center it. Palat goes to the boards, and they hold it there for a face-off. Face-off in the Chicago zone to the right. Detroit 3, Chicago 2.
Bill, as the camera pans around here, I imagine you viewers at home can see a lot of white specks in the audience. That is the fact that great numbers of the audience have taken off their jackets, and those are in shirt sleeves.
On the face-off, Warham fails to get out. Gordie Howe trying to center it. Here Palat against the boards. Howe trying to dig it out. Makita is given a shove, gets a hold of it, cleared it off Warham. Out over the line. Warham feeds the pass to Moons, and Howe gets back to take it away from him. Gordie Howe for Ullman. Back to Del Vecchio. A shot. Shot it wide. Goes to the corner. Moons clearing it out and down the ice. Going back forward is Marcel Pronovost. Clearing it off the boards to Godfrey. Stopped by Makita. Then Ullman takes it away from him, and there goes the buzzer. We end the second period. Ullman scored 2 goals within 5 seconds to give the Red Wings the lead for the first time in the game. So the score at the end of the second period is Detroit 3, Chicago Blackhawks 2. But there's a mist starting to rise at the area to our right. The players are skating around trying to get the mist off the ice.
I'm glad you told me, because I thought it was my glasses. I'm glad
no, it's starting to rise at where Glen Hall is.
I'd say at least 50% of the men on the audience at this stage, Bill, are down to their shirts. They've taken off their jackets.
Must be about 80 degrees in here now.
Yeah. And of course they permit them to smoke at places around this building too, which doesn't improve things. The only place that's worse is the Forum in Montreal on a night like this.
Okay, Jim Ross sets aside the third period. And of course the teams are at full strength, and it's Esposito, Bobby Hull, and Chico Mackey against Fontaine, McGregor, and Lindsay. It's back in the Chicago zone, and Elmer Vasco shoots it off the boards. Fontaine is hit by Bobby Hull. The puck goes behind the net. Palat checked by Lindsay, then gets it again. Palat to Chico Mackey. Back to Pierre Palat, number 3, and he goes down the right side. Pass it over here to Vasco. Vasco up to center, and he shoots it into the Detroit zone, and it goes around on the board. Chico Mackey keeping it in with a shot. Marcel Pronovost trying to get it out. Chico Mackey right on the Lindsay stick, and he shoots it down the ice. That's going over the red line, and that is icing. And although there is a bit of a haze, that ice is still very fast.
Yes, there have been a couple of bad spots all night, though, Bill, even before the game started. as the camera comes around now, just where his number 16 is skating, there's a very bad spot to the side of the Detroit net. It's been that way since before the game started.
All ready to go now for the face-off in the Detroit zone to the left, and Packer McDonald comes out now with Gordie Howe and Del Vecchio. They actually had dropped the puck. And of course the call comes from the linesman, not the referee. The referee concentrates on the face-off and the face-off only, and it's up to the linesman to call the players coming off the bench. The referee is John Ashley, number 3. The linesmen are Neil Armstrong, number 8, and Bill Morrison, number 16. Allman scoring 2 goals in the second period in the space of 5 seconds to give Detroit the lead, 3-2, which they enjoy at this point. And on the face-off, Bergman passes to Packer McDonald, off Pierre Palat. He's grabbed by Del Vecchio. Howe nearly gets loose on the right wing. Hay back for it to Nestorenko, number 15. Shot it over for Hay on the right side. Packer McDonald clears it in, and that's offside. We're at the 1:15 mark of this third period. Detroit 3, Chicago Blackhawks 2. Bergman over to Gadsby. Up for Del Vecchio. His backhand is wide. It bounces into the corner. Red Stanfield right to Del Vecchio, who shot it right on. And Glenn Hall stopped it on the short side. Howe, Del Vecchio, Packer McDonald, Gadsby, and Bergman. And from the face-off, Chicago with Elmer Vasco going behind the net. Shoots it off the boards for Bill Hay. Bill Hay coming down this left side to center. Over the blue line with Stanfield. It's offside. Stanfield on this left wing in advance of the puck carrier. Nestorenko from Holland Ravlich at 8:37. Lindsay from Bergman and Henderson, 19-19. Of the first period, it was a 1-1 tie. Detroit outshot Chicago in the first period, 12-10. Bergman to Del Vecchio. Up with Howe. Over for Packer McDonald. Offside. He had it in, out, and in again. Off his skate. Second period scoring. Hull from Vasco and Moans at 14:59. Then Allman from Gadsby at 17:35. Allman unassisted at 17:40. Detroit outshooting Chicago 10-9 and outscoring them 2-1 and lead 3-2 as we're playing in this third period. There were 5 penalties in the first period, 3 to Chicago and 2 to Detroit, and 4 in the second period, 2 apiece. Into the crowd goes that shot. We'll have another face-off.
I think, Bill, that Detroit appears to be deliberately slowing down the pace of the game at this point. I don't blame them very much. It's very hot in this building, and now with dramatic unexpectedness, they took that 1-goal lead. They can afford to sit back and force Chicago to carry the play to them.
I think it was quite noticeable in the early part of the second period that the Chicago Blackhawks were forcing the issue by playing up in the Detroit zone. True. On the face-off, it's Moans back to Al McNeil, over to Matt Ravlich. He shoots the puck into the Detroit zone. It goes to the corner. Lloyd Smith trying to bring it out. Makita back to McNeil. A shot right on, and Crozier stopped that. Straight out over the line. Ravlich brought it in outside. Bauman, Smith, Dillabo, Marcel Pronovo, and Warren Godfrey. On the face-off, Moans takes his shot into the corner. Dan Makita lets Marcel Pronovo get a hold of it. Ravlich moves up. Marcel Pronovo falls. Bob Dillabo works his way out of the left wing. Long pass for Smith. He's getting it on goal. He hit the side of the net. Al McNeil shooting it off the boards, but not out. Smith trying to get it through to Ullman. And Makita up at center ice. Takes a long shot wide. Crozier shot it into the corner. Bob Dillabo getting away from Akita, trying to bring it out. He's covered, and Ullman gets a hold of it. Army Ullman up to Smith for Dillabo over the line. Ravlich covers him. Dillabo gets the puck loose, centered it, and it's picked off by Moans to Warren. Over the line for Moans. Moans couldn't get to it as Godfrey gets in there to cover up. It's against the boards, and there's no further period.
And there comes Hull again.
And Bobby Hull's out there at center ice. Not only that, but now Dennis Hull is out as well. On the left side, number 10. Bergman, watched by Bobby Hull. Down goes Bergman. Joyelle, a pass for Jeffrey, feeding it out to Henderson. Dennis Hull is there to skate him off. Shooting it to Bobby Hull. Bobby Hull chased into his own zone. To Elmer Vasco. Up to Dennis Hull, a backhand. Back for it is Bergman. Bergman is knocked off out of the play by Hull. Now it's Joyelle. A long pass to Larry Jeffrey. Takes his shot, and that's wide. Dennis Hull clearing it around into the corner. Down goes Joyelle. A pass for Bobby Hull. Larry Jeffrey shot it in. Brought up by Tico Mackey. Tico Mackey over the blue line. Trying to cut around. Takes his shot. Bobby Hull missed the rebound. Joyelle. Checked by Tico Mackey. To Bobby Hull. He's over the blue line. Back to Dennis Hull, and Henderson has it to Joyelle. Going down the ice for Henderson. And it's offside at the blue line. Called by linesman Neil Armstrong. The score is Detroit 3, Chicago Blackhawks 2 at the 4:36 mark of the third period. Val Fontaine, number 11, with Bruce McGregor, 16, and Ted Lindsay, number 15, on the left wing. Canfield, Hay, and Nesarenko. The shot goes to Glenn Hall off the net. Al McNeil bringing it out now with a pass for Nesarenko. It's stopped. McNeil after it. Clears it out of backhand down the ice. Marcel Pronovo is going back for it. It's over the red line. It's touched, and that's icing. Coming up to the 5-minute mark now in the third period in 6 seconds. On the face-off, Hay of Chicago, a pass ahead to Nesarenko. At center, here's over to Stanfield on the left wing. Trying to go through, he gets his backhand. Crozier steering it to Lindsay. Off the boards for Fontaine. Too hard for him. Ravlich to McNeil. McNeil shoots it in, and Crozier stops it, and it's cleared by Provo over to Lindsay. Lindsay coming down the ice at center. Over for McGregor. And Glenn Hall came out. Fontaine goes after it. It's against the boards. Ravlich trying to bring it out. Does. Up the center. Shooting it into the Detroit zone. Crozier lets it go. Fontaine getting away from two players. McGregor down the right wing. Over the line, and Ravlich gets back to cover up. Ravlich to Hay. He hit Lindsay. Ravlich then to Stanfield over the blue line. Try to pass back for Nesarenko. Fontaine shooting it out. Cleared back into the Detroit zone. McGregor shooting it out. Al McNeil with Stan Mikita. McNeil takes a long shot. Crozier steered it off to Lindsay. Lindsay can't get it out. Dan Mikita's shot comes to Warren Godfrey. Warren Godfrey coming down the ice with Howe. Over the line. Set a pass for Howe, and it was broken up by Elmer Vasco, who gives it to Nesarenko for Moe. Stopped by Howe. And Godfrey's right there on the spot to shoot it in again. Now it's Here's Palat shooting it down the ice. Gary Bergman, number 18, over to Bill Gadsby, number 4, up to Gordie Howe. Takes a long shot, that foul. Glenn Hall stopped it. Elmer Vasco to Stan Mikita. Passing it back to Vasco, ahead to Mikita. At center, over the blue line, he's checked. Back from McDonald to Alex Del Vecchio. Gordie Howe picks it up, over the line. Takes his shot, not wide. Gadsby moves up with a backhand. He's hit by Warren. Here's a chance for Packer McDonald, right to Del Vecchio. Missed the short side. And Mikita off the board. Stopped by Howe. Howe right in front of Del Vecchio. Knocked down from behind with a backhand. Cleared but not out. Here's Howe with it again. To Packer McDonald. His shot hit Vasco and he tapped it out over the blue line. Bergman to Gadsby. Over to Bergman. Up to Howe. Over the line. Howe barges through. The puck goes to Glenn Hall. He shoots it off the glass. Bobby Howe trying to get away. He's covered. Howe gets a hold of it. A backhand. Glenn Hall stopped that. Pasco shoots at the length of the ice. Over the red line. Gadsby back to touch it. Icing is the call, and this game is coming to you direct from the Detroit Olympia. Out set to go. Bobby Howe out there again with Dennis Howe and Chico Mackey. Bobby Howe. He hit Bob Billabo. Pass over on the right wing for Chico Mackey. Here's the pass for Dennis Howe. Getting into the clear. Roger Crozier came out of the net to knock it out to the wing. Pass for Doug Jarrett, broken up by Ullman. Pass intended for Smith, broken up by the Hawks. Chico Mackey a backhand. That goes into the crowd. Played 8 minutes and 42 seconds of this third period. Detroit leading 3-2.
They're changing at every opportunity now, Bill. Detroit particularly is pouring them over the boards.
Trying to face off against the boards again. It goes loose over to Ravlich. Matt Ravlich at center gets over that red line. The shot is wide. The rebound goes to Bob Billabo. Behind the net for Marcel Pronovo. Up the ice to center. He's checked by Chico Mackey, who in turn was checked by Dillabo. Offside. Dillabo was caught with a high stick. And that was strictly accidental. No question about that.
It's getting quite steamy out there in the ice, Bill, but do not adjust your sense. This fog comes to you through the courtesy of our sponsors.
Extremely warm here in the Detroit Olympia as the fog starts to settle on the ice surface. Goes back to Crozier. That's Bergman with it behind the net. He shoots it off the boards, down the ice to center. Matt Ravlich is there, over to Jarrett. He gets it over to the far wing, and Larry Jeffrey intercepts. Carrying it to an open wing. Eddie Joyelle moves up, shooting it into the Chicago zone. Matt Ravlich goes back for it. Down went Paul Henderson. A pass for Dennis Howe. Up over the blue line for Bobby Howe. Over the blue line, Bobby Howe trying to get through. Henderson is knocked down. Cleared out over the blue line. Doug Jarrett shoots it right back into the Detroit zone. And McGregor comes over the boards. Harry Bergman. Up to Larry Jeffrey. To Bill Gadsby. At center. Over the line for McGregor, and he couldn't reach it. Larry Jeffrey shoots it in. Johnny McKenzie's out there for the first time, number 18 for Chicago. There's the puck is behind the net. Then Hall came out to cover to Bobby Howe. Over to Pierre Palat. Back to Bobby Howe. He's over the blue line. There's the shot. It's a weak one and wide. Bill Gadsby. Off the boards for Jeffrey. Can't get it out. Then he does. He hooked it off Pierre Palat's stick. Johnny McKenzie shoots it in offside. Dennis Howe was way inside the blue line. And we've reached the 10:33 mark of the third period. Jim?
I don't know how they're going to last out this next 10 minutes, or almost 10 minutes, Bill. This pace has been crackling tonight. The first period, of which, of course, many of our audience, unfortunately, didn't see on television, was it was carried on at one of the most blazing speeds I've seen all year.
And from the face-off, Camille Henry shooting it into the Detroit zone. Marcel Pronovo cleared it, but not out. Camille Henry for Phil Esposito, and he handed it right to Marcel Pronovo to Bruce McGregor. McGregor gets over the red line, shooting it back into the Chicago zone. Glenn Hall out of the net. Fontaine tried to center it. Camille Henry shooting it into the corner on the other side. Johnny McKenzie back for it. Now he starts out, getting away from a check. Palat back to McKenzie over the line. Stops to Camille Henry, and he shot it right onto Fontaine's stick. Back to McGregor with Lindsay on his left. Takes the pass. Lindsay is dumped. A penalty there to McKenzie. McKenzie dumps Lindsay and gets the game.
Chicago penalty. McKenzie, 2 minutes for slashing. The time,
Slashing is the
11
call
minutes,
at
26 seconds.
Detroit 3, Chicago 2. Alman, Smith, Bob Dillabo, Gordie Howe, and Alex Del Vecchio. Alman picks the puck up, cleared it back to Del Vecchio. Del Vecchio took his shot. Alman goes after it, poking it to Bob Dillabo. Hit the side of the net, digs it out again. Alman goes in to help him. Alman comes up with it behind the net, centered it right in front. Bill Hay kicks it up for Chicago. Goes back in his own zone and then finds an opening and shoots it to center. Now, to Smith. Lloyd Smith at center. Shooting it, and it's offside. It was in and out. But it was brought out by the Detroit player, Ullman, so that, of course, is offside. 7 minutes and 52 seconds remaining in the third period. 3-2 Detroit. Now over to Del Vecchio. He's in over the line. There's the shot, and that was wide. Bill Hay can't get it out. Howe to Smith. It's cleared and deflected by Hay off Ravlich's shot down the ice. Alex Del Vecchio with Bob Dillabo. Back to Howe. Up the center. Over to Del Vecchio. He shoots it into the corner. Hay after it. Holding it against the boards. Then Dillabo races after it. Hay gets his skate on it and holds it there for a face-off in the Chicago zone to the left. Detroit playing every man up. Gadsby comes over the boards with Bergman.
Incidentally, Bill, these two fellows, Bergman and Warren Godfrey, have been filling in very well. Sid Abel had to shake up his defensive pairs. He put Pronovo, one of his veterans, with one, and Gadsby with the other after Barkley got hurt in the first minute and 41 seconds.
7 minutes, 18 seconds remaining in regulation time. Gadsby, a pass to Smith. He tried to center it, deflects out to center ice. Bergman to Gadsby, back to Bergman on the left wing. He flips it right into the Chicago zone, and Matt Ravlich shoots it right back to Bergman. Bergman now coming up with Ullman. He shot it off the boards, had to go back for it. Ullman still with it. To Floyd Smith. Over to Dillabo, over the line. Back to Bergman. There's the shot. Glenn Hall caught it and holds it for a face-off. Eddie Joyelle with Henderson and Jeffrey. Here's the shot. Wide. Jeffrey another shot. And it came around on the boards to Warren. Now then Johnny McKenzie's back on the ice. Bergman clearing it for Jeffrey. Going the wrong way. Bergman tries it again to Joyelle. And then Henderson gets it over the line. Jeffrey after it. Back to Henderson. And he got his shot away, but it was deflected wide. Moans trying to get away on this left side with Makita. They're over the line. Closing in a pass. And Warren couldn't get to it. Makita went down. Jeffrey went into the boards. Back up on his skates. Here comes Chicago over the blue line. Pierre Palat is shoved and knocked down by Bergman. Play is called. 5 minutes, 55 seconds remaining in regulation time. Detroit 3, Chicago 2.
There's Bill Gadsby, who is becoming a great debater as the season progresses. I always think that his voice improves as the playoffs go on. Usually about the 7th game of the finals, he's in great form.
Hey, Jeff. On the face-off is cleared down the ice to center. Masco shoots it back in again. That bounce. Rozier just got a piece of it. Dan Makita trying to center it. Marcel Pronovo goes to the board. Then Lindsay and Makita swing at each other. Palat gets into it. Makita and Lindsay will get penalties.
Palat wanted to fight Lindsay there too, and Lindsay looked as if he wouldn't have minded fighting both of them, Bill. After all, I think he's already got an all-time record in regular season play, but the penalty record for the Stanley Cup playoffs eludes him, and this is a good spot where he can pick up about 10.
Detroit penalty, Lindsay. 2 minutes apiece for roughing. The time, 14 minutes, 17 seconds.
14 minutes and 17 seconds. The time of the roughing penalties to Makita and Lindsay. So it's Warren Moans, Doug Jarrett, and Pierre Palat. Al Fontaine, Bruce McGregor, Marcel Pronovo, and Warren Godfrey. Godfrey to Marcel Pronovo. Coming up slowly. Back to Godfrey. Out over the blue line to center. Takes a long shot. Then Hall deflected into the corner. Fontaine to McGregor. Back to Marcel Pronovo. A shot right on, and Van Hall made the save. Garrett. Check. McGregor has it on the right side there. Makes a shot. Still has it. Trying to center it. Pierre Palat to Doug Moans. Coming down the ice at center. Over for Warren. Marcel Pronovo gets in ahead of him. Moans tries to get it out in front. Warren after it. Moans to Jarrett, and Fontaine is there. And to McGregor. Over the blue line. Got it in. Here Palat turns. 4:45 remaining in the third period. Here's Bobby Howe. Howe after him. Down the ice he goes. Over the line. And Howe gets back as Bergman took Chico Mackey out of the play. Ernie Howe to Alex Del Vecchio. Del Vecchio to center. Over for Bergman. He shoots it in. Jarrett back for it. 4 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in regulation time. Lead it to Detroit. Up for Bobby Howe at center ice. Over the blue line. He was hooked by Howe. There's going to be a penalty here to Howe, I think. It goes to the corner. Comes back to McNeil. Play is called. Howe went down after running into McNeil. Howe getting a penalty. Howe in the penalty box, giving Chicago the odd man advantage. 5 men to 4.
Howe.
A hooking penalty at 15:57. Pierre Palat Keeps it in. Knocks it off the boards. Ullman gets a hold of it and puts it down the ice. It's behind Glenn Hall. Bobby Hull. Coming up now for Chicago. At his own blue line. At center. A pass to Pierre Pilote. He's over the blue line. Cutting in from the right side. Goes behind the net. Trying to center it. It's against the board. Pilote. Trying to keep it in. Gadsby gets it out to McGregor with Ullman. Over the line for Ullman. Goes after it. Centered it right in front. McGregor can't get to it. Godfrey comes over the boards to replace Marcel Pronovo. Hay is checked. Ullman gets a hold of it. Howe is still on the penalty box. Gadsby to Godfrey. Back to Ullman. Over the line. Ullman going right in that goal. He shoots. Goal! Play of that goal. Normie Ullman gets his third in a row, the hat trick. At 17:59, Ullman from Gadsby and Godfrey, and it's now Detroit 4, Chicago Blackhawks 2.
And that goal came just 2 seconds after Gordie Howe got out of the penalty box,
Right.
although he didn't have a chance to engage in the play. However, it wound up with 4 Detroit men up there around the net when Ullman popped it into the open corner.
Now ready to go for the face-off. Del Vecchio facing off against Stanfield. Goes to Packer McDonald. Gordie Howe. Alex Del Vecchio's shot goes to Nestorenko. Nestorenko, a pass over here to Al McNeil. Al McNeil trying to get it out. It's shot down off Gordie Howe into the Detroit zone, and Bill Gadsby's back for it behind the net. Gadsby shoots it around on the boards to Packer McDonald. Packer McDonald over here to Gordie Howe, up at center. He shoots it in to the Chicago zone. We have 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining in the third period. Feed off the boards. Howe is checked. Stanfield up at center, over to Nestorenko, over the line offside, fouled by linesman Bill Morris.
Bill, when they swept that green object from the ice, I was gratified to see that it wasn't moving. For a while, I thought it might have been the longest and biggest caterpillar in the history of the insect world.
On the face-off, Del Vecchio bats the puck down the ice with his glove. That'll be icing. It definitely went over the red line. And there's Bill Gadsby again saying a few words to the referee.
Yes, he's getting ready. He should have a good final if Detroit gets in there. You notice, too, Bill, that the cabinet is out there now in a moment of stress when they want to hang on to this 2-goal lead. They're all there. Howe, Gadsby, Pronovo, and Del Vecchio.
Now set for the face-off in the Detroit zone to the right. Red Stanfield with Eric Nestorenko. Also Camille Henry, Bill Hay, and Matt Ravlich. The shot knocked down by Marcel Pronovo. Pronovo, and there's Normie Ullman. Ullman with it at the blue line. A pass over to Howe. Howe giving a shove. It goes into the Chicago zone. Camille Henry bringing it back. Less than a minute to go in the third period. Up the ice for Hay. Stopped by Marcel Pronovo. Nestorenko. Right on the Gadsby stick. With Ullman. Ullman racing after it. Then lets it go as Ravlich gets in ahead of him. 33 seconds remaining in this third period as Stanfield turns behind his own net. Here's a pass on the left wing. Here he comes himself to center. Up to the Detroit blue line. Lost it there to Bill Gadsby. Over on the wing to Alex Del Vecchio. Gives it back to Marcel Pronovo. 15 seconds. Gadsby to Marcel Pronovo. Back to Gadsby. Gadsby waits to Howe. Up to Ullman. For Del Vecchio, he lets it go. It goes in behind Glenn Hall. 1 second. There goes the run to the game is over. the Red Wings, led by Normie Elman. 3 goals have come through to defeat the Chicago Blackhawks 4-2. The final score of tonight's game, Detroit Red Wings 4, the Chicago Blackhawks 2.
Well, Bob Nevin, your 3 stars and your reasons.
Well, my 3 stars tonight, Ward, are Norm Hellman, 1st star, Bobby Hull, 2nd star, and Roger Crozier, 3rd star. I don't think I have to reason very much for picking Normie Hellman as my 1st star. Any guy that can score the tying, winning, and clinching goal in a Stanley Cup playoff deserves that. My 2nd choice, Bobby Hull. I thought he dominated the game when he was out in the ice. Unfortunately for Chicago, he couldn't play the whole game. He did set up the first Chicago goal and scored the 2nd one, and he is my 2nd choice. Roger Crozier, I thought in the 1st period particularly, when Chicago looked like they might control the game, stopped the 2 I mentioned previous on Kenny Warm and on Bobby Hull. I thought he kept them in the game until the 3rd period when Norm Ullman took over.
Well, Norm's with us now. Congratulations on a great game, Norm.
Thank you very much, Ward. Congratulations, Normie. Thank you, Did you not, I thought tonight, when most of the players seemed to be tiring a little from the heat, I thought you come on real strong, and we were mentioning in the press box that you didn't look quite as sharp as you had during the latter part of the season, but then the 2nd, 3rd period, you looked like you got real interested and scored the 3 goals.
I think after I scored that first one from way out like that, it kind of perks a fellow up. Both teams, I think, were extremely tired, and nobody could seem to get a concentrated attack going. We were just lucky to score a couple from that far out.
Yes, did you know that you had broken the record for the fastest 2 goals in the Stanley Cup competition?
No, I didn't even think about it.
Phil Hay scored last year in 7 seconds, and yours tonight were in 5.
Yeah, right.
What about the heat out there tonight, Norm? Did it really affect the overall play of the lines?
I think it must have, yeah. Everyone seemed to find it real tough going.
Was the ice itself slow? Or?
Yes, the ice was real slow, and the humidity was real bad. It seemed hard to get going.
With a nice, tonight when the ice is like it is, Bob and I were mentioning the number of offsides that Chicago were getting tonight. Now, is this oftentimes when the person with the puck can't go as quickly as the others, or?
No, I think that's more or less their style of play. That happens quite a bit. They get those wingmen breaking, and they just keep going. And if they get the puck in to them on time, well, then they're going to have a real good chance at scoring.
Well, Norm, if they keep getting the puck into you like they did tonight, you're going to keep on scoring. Thanks very much, and again, our congratulations. Thanks to you, Bob, our other guests as well. The shots on goal tonight, the Red Wings outshot Chicago 30-25. A reminder that we'll be back with you on Tuesday night for the next game in the Toronto Canadiens series, and the final score here in Olympia tonight, Detroit 4, Chicago 2.
The Hawks would win the series in 7 with Bobby Hull providing most of the offense, scoring 8 goals. The Hawks would head to the final to meet the Montreal Canadiens. Chicago would end up coming up short, however, losing to the Habs in 7. Thanks for watching Vintage Games here on the NHL Network. I'm Dan Pollard.